The reputation of the American news media today is controversial. Michael Rizzo is an expert on mass communications at St. John's University. He's also director of the journalism program there, and he joins us now. Mike, thank you so much for being with us. Let's try to put this all into context. Some journalists, especially those in the White House press corps, would say that they're under siege. President Trump argues there's too much fake news in print and on the air, but how should the rest of us handle these clashes?
Well, I think we need to remember what you just mentioned at the beginning of your introduction. Freedom of the press is protected in the Constitution. I don't think the news media is the enemy of the people. I also think there are some reporters out there that are maybe not following some of the good tenets of good journalism, some of the fundamentals. But I think people need to remember the press is especially protected in our country because the founders wanted watchdogs over our government, over our leaders. So there wasn't another opportunity for a despot to come in and take over like the king had done. So I think if people remember that, they understand that there might be friction between the parties of the media and the politicians, but I think they should then look at it like this is what each has a job to do. Present their side, also present the facts.
Now, the Catholic news media is so important because they're reporting stories that you won't find anywhere else. How do we ensure that the trust remains with our audience and that it remains strong?
Well, I actually, there's the Vincentian Journal of Social Action. And what I did in the most recent issue was a paper comparing and relating Catholic social teaching to good ethics for journalists. And Catholic social teaching reminds us that we're all connected. We all have dignity as human beings, and we should look out for each other in our business, in our work, in our lives. And I said journalists should do the same thing. They should follow good ethics of remembering to seek the truth and reporting, to think about the dignity of the person that they're reporting on, to minimize harm on the people they're reporting on, to be fair, to be balanced, to be unbiased in their reporting, look for other perspectives that give a fuller picture to any story that they're covering. So I think that in the Catholic media can be done by looking at stories where they reveal more of the facts, of the intricacies of any story than just a headline or an attention-grabbing way to present something.
I'm interested to hear what the millennials think. What are your students telling you about the press, secular or Catholic or otherwise?
They pay attention to the news. They're interested in what's going on in our world. They're concerned in some regards, and they want to know what's happening with other things, not just politically related, entertainment, sports. So they follow the news. What I encourage them to do is to get a little deeper, and I think that's what this generation is not doing right now. They're looking at things superficially. They're getting it through social media, which gives not a lot of details, but maybe headlines and some facts. And I encourage them to look at different sources where they can see how the reporters in those different news organizations cover a story and might provide a fuller picture. So they're interested, but like with anything else, they need to practice a little more to be good news consumers, so ultimately they can be good news providers. They can be good journalists that tell the story.
Really quickly, Mike, and I want to bring this full circle and add balance to this. This is not the first time there's been this heavy-handed assault on the press, right? It's rooted in historical value. Take us around this particular clash. How do we break through that?
Well, again, politicians and the media have clashed in the past. There have been other administrations dating back to the 19th century that have clashed with the media. So that's nothing new. What I think we need to remember is that it is good to know about what's going on. It is all right to ask a question if that's what your job is, and the politicians should know that the job of the media is to ask questions. Transparency counts for a lot in our politics, and it should count for a lot in media too. I would encourage the media to endorse giving not anonymous sources, but getting people to speak on the record and to reveal who it is that they're speaking to, so the public has a better knowledge of where the facts are coming from. So I think we can look at those clashes on seeing how people can resolve them by knowing more facts.
All right, Mike, thank you so much. Great information there. I appreciate you joining me.
Thank you.